financial wellness workshop. And tonight we're going to discuss how your finances affect your credit. So originally the topic was supposed to be how controlling your finances affect your credit, but I think it was a space thing on the flyer. Like it just would not fit. So I just summed it up like how your finances affect your credit score. Because at the end of the day, it's still the same, right? Okay. All right, let's get going. All right, so U.S. consumer debt, right? It's also known as consumer credit. It's what it is how much money the citizens of the U.S. owe on loans, credit cards, or other credit instruments. You can borrow it from a bank, a credit union, or the federal government. So with U.S. consumer debt, it has two components, okay? You got your revolving, which is like your credit cards, and you have your non-revolving debt, which is your student loans. Don't you guys know that as of December 2021, U.S. consumer debt preliminary numbers showed an increase of 5.9% annually to more than $4.43 trillion, hitting a quarterly record. Okay, I was like, oh my God, that is how much debt we have here in the U.S. It's crazy. And last week, I know Lexi had touched on it. Our special guest, Lexi, she was saying consumer debt wasn't this bad. It didn't really start to come about to 1970.
Yeah.
Man, we come away. All right, so tonight we're talking about credit. So what is credit exactly, right? Credit is an agreement that you have with a lender to obtain services or goods that you pay for at a later time, under agreed upon terms. So if you apply for a loan, the lender will give you the money and you will have to repay that loan over time along with interest and possibly other fees. You're probably wondering, there we go. Awesome. So you guys are probably wondering, okay, how is this going to help us with credit? So as we keep talking further along, you guys will further understand. Okay. All right, so you have your three main types of credit. You have your installment credit, which is your mortgages, your student loans, and your auto loans. You have your revolving credit, which is your credit cards, your home equity line of credit, your personal loans. And then you have your open credit, which is your utility bills and your charge cards. And, we know with the open credit, it's never going to be a set amount. It always changes, it's what they say. Whatever you use is what you pay for with the open credit, okay? So each of these is borrowed and repaid with a different structure. Although each allows consumers to borrow money, not all credit is treated the same in determining your credit score.
So that brings it to me. And I want to talk about, something that a lot of people don't know or realize, which is how your score is even calculated. Most people get a credit score and they wonder why it's so low. So let's discuss the first thing with how your score is calculated is 35% of it is, number one, your payment history. So if you're playing around with your payments, like, oh, I want to go to the party and I want to drink all the shots and I want to buy everybody's shots, and I don't want to pay my rent. I don't want to pay my car payment. I don't want to pay that charge card for Coach that I got. I don't want to pay that. Well, those late payments and things affect your score more than anything. Your payment history is the number one thing that affects your score. Secondly, along with that is your credit limit and how much of it you're using, which is your utilization. So what you want to do is, ideally, you want to stay in between the 30% mark of your credit utilization. You don't want to go over that amount. You want to be 30% or below. So basically, if you have a card that's, let's say, $1,000 to make it math easy, you don't want to spend more than $300 on that card ever. You want to spend less than that if you can. That'll help your credit score. The third thing is how long you've had these cards. Now, the other thing is people don't know with your length of credit history that if you start acquiring, like you had a card for 10 years and then all of a sudden you get a brand new card, well, that new card is going to cut your length of credit history in half. So now, as it shows to the bureaus, now you have 5 years of credit history. So just keep that in mind. How you apply for credit and when you apply for credit is a major factor in your credit score. The next thing is your credit mix. That's whether you have the installments or the revolving credit, or you have, a specific loan, student loans, things like that. That affects your credit. That's like your house, your car, all that. Those things, you got to have a good mix on there. They don't want to just see you only have credit cards or you only just have a house. They want to see that you can handle multiple types of credit well and stay consistent with those payments. And like I said, the last one, I already hit on this, but new credit. You want to be mindful of how you're using new credit. We're going to talk about Chase for just a second. Chase has a good rule in place, and it's called the 524 rule. You can actually Google 524 rule by Chase. And what that is they will not approve anybody for a credit card if they've had more than 5 credit cards that they've acquired in the last 24 months. And it could be from anybody. It don't got to be Chase. It could be if you got a Discover, or if you got Capital One, or if you got, some people that are starting out with credit will get a couple of credit one bank cards. It doesn't matter the card. If you got more than 5 in 24 months or 5 in 24 months, they won't approve you. And then another thing that hits people really hard with credit is a lot of people will go to the car lot and they will say, oh my God, I love this car. I want to get it right now. Just run my credit and see who you can get to finance me. Guys, this hits you so hard with inquiries. Inquiries will knock your credit score down so low. Each one of them will knock off anywhere from 2 or 3 to 7 points, depending on how many bureaus or how many people are looking at your credit at one time. You want to be mindful of who is looking at your credit report. So watch those inquiries. Next slide.
So here we talk about the Fair Isaac Corporation, aka FICO. So the Fair Isaac Corporation was the first company to translate all your credit history into a 3-digit number, which lets you know how much of a risk you are and how likely you are to pay your bills. Okay. So the ranges, they are from a low 300 to a high 850. The lower the score, the higher the risk. Each consumer, we all have 3 FICO scores through Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And so there are 5 factors that help make up your FICO score, which is your payment history, your total credit, your duration, your new credit, and other types of credit as well. And you see the different percentages that each, the impact on your credit that each has. So the things that don't affect your credit, of course, is your income, your savings, your utility bills, your job status, and your debt transaction. However, when it comes to your utility bills, I always, tell clients, it's not a bad thing to have like your Experian account logged into your banking account so that it can see that you're paying bills and you can still get, credit for paying rent and paying for utilities. You can still get credit in these areas, so if you have questions about how to go about that, I can definitely, speak with you, one-off on how to go about that.
Hey, we're going to talk about the other credit bureaus. Now, most people just think that you only have Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You will be sadly mistaken. There's something called sub bureaus. And that's your LexisNexis, your Innovis, your CoreLogic, your SageStream. There's others like ARS. You have to understand when you are trying to freeze your credit or lock your credit, you don't just freeze or lock your credit at the main three, which is Sage, which is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You got to do Sage, Stream, CoreLogic, Innovis, and LexisNexis. You know why? Because when they're trying to verify the information that you're trying to dispute, the first place they're going to go to is not one of the other major credit bureaus. They're going to go to the sub bureaus and verify it, because they know most of the American public aren't aware of these sub bureaus. And especially anything involving the government, the main thing that they like to use is LexisNexis. So you just want to be very mindful of those sub bureaus and make sure you're also locking and freezing your credit there, and making sure that those bureaus are updated. They have current information about you. When you're doing credit repair, you want to make sure that all your information is current. This is how they attach all the stuff that comes back to haunt you that you don't necessarily want to pay for, or you don't want to claim as yours. A good way to get those things off of you, those demons off of you, is to go through all of these sub bureaus and the regular bureaus and update your information first. If the addresses are more than 10 years old, and like you got old jobs you don't work at no more listed, phone numbers you don't work at anymore listed, get that stuff off of there. If that's how they verify is you, that information is there. So you want to make sure you just keep all of that cleaned up. You want to keep on top of it.
All right, so we have here listed ways to improve your credit. And I kind of got a little carried away. Coach Steve would probably agree.
Hey, those are great. These are all great ways.
She was like, how many? I was like 15 to 20. She was like, no, wait. So I was like, the more the merrier, because everybody's situation is different. You know what I'm saying? Ways to improve your credit, include the following here, pay down balances, set up automatic payments if you're, that person that forgets to pay your bills every month. Okay. Create a budget, every month to help, pay your things in order. And also, with the things that you're getting, points on in regards to your credit, like paying your credit cards, when you got that budget, you know exactly where every penny is going. You have to allocate your funds, every penny. I'm serious. Dispute credit report inaccuracies. That is very important. Just like Coach T was saying, if you are not checking your credit report, how are you aware of anything that is inaccurate if you're not checking it, more often? Okay. Keep old accounts open. The longer that you can have these accounts, the better. Even if your account, even if these are accounts you're not really using, it's okay. Just keep them open, Pay off credit card balances every month. I know they say, to stay up under 30%, but honestly, you get more praise from the credit bureaus when you pay them off, honestly. Protect your personal information to avoid fraud. And this is dealing with identity theft. I mean, every 7 seconds, someone is a victim here in the United States. And actually, identity theft is one of the biggest thefts in America. Honestly, that is the quickest way to start a new life, honey. And that's with your information. So if you guys need any kind of identity protection, please speak with me after this call, because I can get you protected just on pennies. Like literally pennies a day. Okay. Handle debt that's in collection. Honestly, just if it sit there, it's gonna attack your number. Honestly, you gotta do something about it. Okay. Work with a nonprofit credit counseling agency, and I'm aware of a good few that are good. So if you guys need help with that, please let me know. Get a credit builder loan. Seek out a secure credit card. Get credit for monthly payments, and that's what I was saying as far as as Experian being logged into your bank account, so that way you can get credit for those monthly payments. Okay. Limit your line of credits. Okay. It's not praised when you have multiple line of credits, especially in a short period of time. You're going to be looked at as, risky. Okay. Avoid credit repair scams. It's everybody wants to do credit repair. Everybody wants to do credit repair. Everybody are okay with taking your money, trust. Okay. So try to avoid them, because honestly, they are robbing people blind every day. Add rent payments to your credit report, get a loan with the help of a co-signer. And I've even heard, a lot of people join an account as just to help build your credit. Definitely try. And most importantly, guys, have patience. Rome was not built in a day. You got to have patience with your credit as well. Okay? It's a process and you have to trust it.
It is a journey. It's a journey.
Oh, and we're going to talk about emotional effects of that, okay? Because, baby, it's a movie my kids really like to watch. It's dealing with emotions. I can't even think of the name of it, but each character was an emotion. It was a sad person. It was a happy person. It was an angry person. It was just crazy. So it's the same with your dad. Poor credit can fill you with anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, fear, confusion, you name it, But, in contrast, having a strong credit score leave you feeling confident, excited, abundant, alive, peaceful, okay? Having that debt hanging over your head can, really just not have you in a good mindset. And so we definitely don't want that for you. All right, so becoming financially independent, regardless of your salary, you can still achieve financial independence. Getting there takes work and discipline. You need to have at least 25 times your annual expenses in savings. Okay. So if your monthly expenses is $4,000 a month, then you'll need to have $48,000 per year just to break even. Okay. And last, getting to a point where you don't have to work to pay your living expenses. Oh man, who doesn't want to be there? Who doesn't want to,
I'm trying to get there. I feel that.
Yes, absolutely. So here are your next steps to becoming. It's definitely a start. You got to create the budget. You got to trim back some expenses. And that could be like Hulu, Netflix, Stars, BT. Just kind of make that temporary sacrifice for a long-term gain. Okay. Build an emergency fund. Pay off your debt. Okay. Start a smart money savings plan. Okay. Do some investing. You got to strategize too with that in order to be successful. I mean, it's definitely a process, but you just got to trust the process. Okay. So that's all I have for you guys tonight.
That's wonderful. Good job. That was good. I enjoyed that.
So next week, we're going to talk about what's your financial independence number. A lot of people don't know what that is.
No, they don't. I agree.
We're going to talk about it next week.
We're going to let them know what it is.
I
said we're going to let them know what it is. You're going to school them on it. They need to know.
I can't keep it to myself.
Yeah. Anytime you tell somebody they got to have $48,000, if they make $4,000 a month, they need to understand why they need to have that $48,000 there. Most people are severely underinsured, severely under saving for their emergency funds, and they don't even realize it. So this is going to be necessary and very good and very informative.
I agree. So Coach T, you can go ahead and run the Q&A and we'll get everyone out of here.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions for me, I will gladly answer them.
Going once.
Going once, going twice. Any questions whatsoever about anything credit?
They said if they don't have questions at the end, we did a good job.
Hey, that means that's good. I'm glad. That's good. I will answer any question.
Exactly. I mean, well, don't no one have any. I mean, you guys are free to leave. That's all I needed you guys for, Coach T and I.
Hey, I want to thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to speak to
Anytime.
Everyone. Truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate you all for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so we can discuss what your financial independence number is, and we're going to go through. Aw, thanks, Lexi.
Hey, Lexi. That's good.
Next week you got to bring paper. You got to bring paper and pen, because we're gonna do some math. We're gonna do some work. We're gonna write out what everyone's financial independence number, and this is something you're gonna do on your own. On your own individually. We're not going to discuss it amongst each other, but I'm going to lay out the tools for you to, know what your financial independence number is, so you'll know when that will be for you and what that looks like for your future. So
Get that pen and paper ready.
that's to come ready. Hey, stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready.
That's right. That's what my mom used to say. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
That's
That's right.